Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you for joining me here. Hope you're having a great day. Let's take a quick look here again at Bitcoin, see what's going on. Just a quick update on the back-end liquidation data and jumping into the chart. So first things first, we always look at liquidation just kind of give perspective on where leverage is hedged the most. This is the last 7 days on the left, not super telling. So we're going to zoom in a little bit to the last 24 hours and just kind of see if we've swept the majority of those local longs. So we do see potential further downside to about the 107.7 to 108K range. So I think we may see the pullback a little bit further there just based on that amount of liquidation to the downside left. Now, from a macro perspective, this pullback may not be super substantial because there's quite a lot of liquidation between 112 and 115. So we still know that still exists. And at this point, what also exists is $20 billion in liquidation long delta, basically telling us we have that much more interest in the price going up than down, which increases the odds of sustainability. Now we take a look at open interest. Obviously, there's a lot of selling pressure at 110,000. There's exit liquidity there for people that were previously long at that level and underwater, and or just in general, we see a lot more buying and selling pressure there. So that's tentative resistance is 110. Once more, that's close to that local high. We also recognize 106.7 is that local bottom. So if the price does end up continuing to pull back, 106.7 feels like a pretty solid place to see a pivot or a bounce from there. Okay, so that's kind of where we're at there. Let's go ahead and start with Bitcoin dominance and just double check. Bitcoin dominance is pulling back. And generally speaking, when Bitcoin dominance comes down, this is a good sign for altcoins because Bitcoin price, if it goes up, then we generally see altcoins do very well. Now, the key takeaway here is to be able, I think alt season is just a far fetch at this point. I know, call me crazy, but it's just not something I think is realistic at this point. I think specific coins will do well, but others will not. And at this point, if we see Bitcoin price come down, we should start to see some stability from altcoins, which is pretty much what we're seeing right now. I know it seems kind of weird because there's a lot of red here, but majority of altcoins are breaking even or retesting their local highs. So I think there's a solid chance that we're in good shape for altcoins here at this point, pending altcoin dominance doesn't just start shooting up and we see Bitcoin continue to do well. All right, so other than that, let's go ahead and take a quick look at the daily and kind of recognize here that we're still above all moving averages. There's not much here that's going to tell us that we're bearish whatsoever. Okay, there's a lot of good qualities here. Pretty much everything is positive on the daily time frame, and the same thing coincides as well with a 4 hour, except we're starting to see stochastic swing to the downside. Obviously, we're maxed out within reason, of course, with the amount of volume that we're seeing. Now, what I mean by that is that volume is staying and remaining above its moving average here. That's really good. So with stochastic swinging down, we're seeing a natural correction to sweep those local longs or the late longs. But on the same accord, at this point, outside of high leverage longs, there's a solid chance we continue to pivot and bounce from here. We have our local, if I'm not mistaken here, ever since we've been in the range of about 100,000 plus since May 18th as a rough estimate. So approximately 1 month's worth of trading, we see the secondary most amount of volume at 108.8K. So we're right there at that semi-tentative support level. But I still think it's realistic to presume the price may pull back a little bit further. Having said all that, we're looking at the hourly time frame, and while we do see some divergence here, this is somewhat significant. In other words, we have high volume selling candles. That is more likely to continue down. So as soon as the price comes back up to this 109, 110K range, I think we're probably going to see another push to the downside to sweep those late longs. So I think short-term correction makes sense. Long-term continuation is also very probable. So we're in pretty good shape, and that's kind of where we're at there. Just once more, remember 106.7, that is kind of that solid area of support. And we're looking pretty good there. So all in all, not terrible. I'm going to go ahead and post a playout chart on our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord here. It's available for you. And I appreciate you all just being amazing parts of my life. Thank you for the wonderful support too. I know my health has been kind of shaky lately, and I appreciate the wonderful kudos and people trying to provide nutritional information, all that stuff. But simple way to understand is I'm mostly back on track, but still having some residuals here. So we'll talk about that at later. That makes no sense, but you get it. All right, thanks again, folks. Have a good rest of the day. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.